Good afternoon everybody, I hope you're well. Today's video is going to be an equipment test again with the two Stealth products. So last year's Stealth model versus this year's Stealth 2. Overall, what Taylormade claim to have done is make the face a little bit lighter, making it easy to transfer weight more around the perimeter of the head. A slightly different look cosmetically when you look down, with kind of the red rim around the outside. And what we're really looking to see is the feedback we have got with the old Stealth model is it tended to be quite hard to hit, not that forgiving, and not really the higher handicappers club to use. So is the new Stealth 2 a little bit easier to hit, more forgiving, and does it create any more ball speed? So I've got the TrackMan set up. Let's hit a few shots and see how we get on. Okay, so before we look into the numbers, I just want to quickly run over, again, the difference in the cosmetics of the club to start with, so what they look like. The original Stealth in the address position has more of a matte look to it, and kind of black all over. And then the Stealth 2 is slightly different in a sense that we've got the red rim on the outside, and again on top is more of a gloss finish. Also, the other changes are, if we look at the club face, we'll start to see that the original Stealth has a little bit more black on the face and more red with the Stealth 2. Now what the kind of the biggest change that Taylormade have made is they claim to have the sweet spot on the Stealth 2 is 20% bigger. So that's going to lead to more efficient ball speeds and again slightly more forgiving, in a sense that when we remove weight away from the club face, which is what they've also done, that allows more weight to be around the perimeter of the club. So again, on any off-centre hits, it's going to lead to a little bit more consistency from hitting more fairways in terms of dispersion and ball speed. So now we can look into the numbers and see if that translates into the shots that we've hit. So I've hit 8 drives with each driver and taken the best 6. And the driver that we did use was not the Plus model, just the standard Stealth and Stealth 2. So to start with, this is the original Stealth numbers. So 115.8 in terms of club head speed, 169 ball speed, smash 1.47, so relatively high, not exactly where we want it to be. Carry was 283 and total was 307. Now the launch angle 10 degrees. I'd like to see kind of the launch angle being around that. It's a little bit lower than kind of optimal launch numbers, but being up in Scotland where the weather is quite windy, bringing that ball flight down just a touch can help me sometimes hit more fairways. Spin rate roughly 2,500, slightly up on it, 1.8 degrees. Land angle again a little flatter, being at 37, and relatively square through the ball with the club. When we look on the right hand side of the screen here in the dispersion from a bird's eye point of view, you can see it's a touch wider than the Stealth 2. So yeah, we can start to see already that Stealth 2 is performing a little bit better in terms of dispersion. And we'll just click on to the Stealth 2 now, just to see the differences in distance and if there's any more improvement. So 114.9, which is 168, very, very similar. You can argue it's maybe a slightly faster swing with the Stealth, but in terms of numbers, very, very close to each other. Smash factors remain the same. Carry distance now 280 versus 309, so slightly more total. Launch angle maybe a little bit lower, and spin rate a touch lower. So that's something that I like to see from a personal point of view. If I can control my spin numbers, I tend to hit more fairways. Anytime the spin tends to climb up, especially in Scotland, windy conditions, you can lose control of your golf ball. So it's slightly flatter land angle, again coming in a little bit lower. That kind of goes back to that launch being a little lower as well, and the spin being low. And again, very similar numbers in terms of what the club is doing through the ball. So Again, looking at it from an aerial point of view, slightly closer in dispersion, and overall, yeah, it did feel a little bit more forgiving. The only difference is a personal preference of mine. I did prefer the matte look compared to the gloss finish of the Stealth 2, but ultimately I did get better results with the newer product. So interesting to kind of look into how they both perform a little bit different. You can start to see those marginal gains that have been made in the new Stealth 2 product. So hopefully that's been a good insight into Taylormade's new equipment. We'll see you soon for another video. Thanks for viewing, and feel free to subscribe and share with other golfers, and we'll see you soon.